way I step, something in my jeans. And FOI, you know that's the team, huh?
Peace. This is your brother Aidan X, and welcome to the processing class. Peace. This is brother Aidan X, and welcome to the processing class. Today, I got a very, very special guest. I got brother Nasir Muhammad. Salam alaikum. Peace be upon you, brother.
Alaykum salam, sir.
The first question I want to ask you is, how did you get the teachings? Were you a nation baby? Were you born in it? Or did you get the teachings some other type of way?
Yes, sir. I was born in the nation by my beautiful parents, Brother Malik and Sister Cherie. They're active Muslims in the Nation of Islam. They've been married for 25 years, which will soon be 26 on May 31st. They raised me and my other 6 siblings based on the teachings. And not only that, but they installed the teachings inside of us. They built a strong foundation in us, and every single child who's reached the age of 16 has accepted the teachings and joined the Nation of Islam by the grace of Allah. I myself, as you know, I'm 15 years old, and inshallah, in only 3 months, I'll be without a doubt in my mind officially joining the Nation of Islam. But yes, sir, that's my answer.
All praises due to Allah. Your brother is Brother Jabril, right?
Yes, sir.
You know, it was your brother that made me register.
Yes, sir. I figured that out. I was like, praise be to Allah. But yes, sir.
Man, all praises due to Allah. Beautiful family. The second question I want to ask you is, what's the reason for you registering? We know your siblings is registered. We know your father and your parents and everything. But what made you say, hey, I want to take this choice and not deviate?
Simply because I guess you could say, when you obviously before you join, the first thing you want to do is analyze like whatever you're going into and figure out if it's best for you. So my whole process was figuring out, okay, what is the goal of this before I even join this? And it's really bettering yourself and bettering the people. So I want to be the best version of myself. So I simply joined because I know exactly, I know the goal and I am in harmony with the goal, and that is my goal. So that's simply why I said, okay, yeah, I'm a register. So yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And what do you think is, for you personally, what's the benefit of registering into the nation?
First of all, I already have my family. I have a great environment of people. But when you join the nation and you're in the nation, you have this huge environment of people who are sharing the same goal as you. Like me and you, we're both striving to be the best people we are. But if I don't want to say if you're not in the nation, you're alone, but it kind of lessens the circle you're in. It gives you more, like you have more people trying to do the same thing as you. And not only that, but me personally, I just I just feel more happy in a way of just doing it. I can't really explain it, but I do feel a lot happy doing it, and it builds a lot of my faith, because whatever I'm studying, I will go walk into it like a few weeks or days later, and then I know exactly how to do it based on my study, and I'm like, man, and it's just a huge faith builder. It's just an energy builder. To sum it all up, it just builds your energy a lot, and it's just been very beneficial for me.
Yes, sir. And you were homeschooled, correct?
Yes, sir.
How is that growing up, being homeschooled, because a lot of people have this view of, people who's homeschooled as missing out into the world, missing out on, what's considered fun or what's considered normal. So how is that experience being homeschooled? Do you feel like you was missing out, or do you feel like you got everything you needed being homeschooled?
To answer your question, yes, sir. I feel like I got everything I needed, because I literally only got what I needed. I got the positive side of school and really none of that negativity. Because what people describe as fun is going out, being just partying, doing really just unnecessary stuff if you think about it. But when you're in homeschool, especially with the kind of parents that I have, that have that love and their care in their heart, and they only want what's the best for you, it's just a whole different experience, and they only give you what you need instead of all that extra stuff. So I don't feel like I missed out necessarily, because really all you miss out on is just, like, I guess you could say, the social part of school, but you can get that later in life, and I've already got it. So I really haven't missed out on anything.
Yes, sir. And you being, man, 15 years old. When I was 15, I was an all F student. I was skipping school. I was being disrespectful to my parents. I was doing, all that, etc. So just you being 15, having the teachings at a very early age, Do you feel like that's benefited you in some way?
Yes, sir. It has benefited me, but to be honest, when it comes to the teachings, no, it really doesn't matter what age you pick up the teachings, but it has been beneficial because when it doesn't matter when you have that teachings, you're gonna go straight up. But that's if you really want it. So if you want the teachings, the second you figure out about it, there's no second guesses. The second you know this is what you want, you're gonna be straight into it, doing everything. So it is a benefit, I guess you can see it as a benefit because you obviously get it early, but it really doesn't matter to me what age you are. You just need to have the will to grow yourself and then grow your family and then grow others. So it really isn't a difference, but to me, but yeah, it has been beneficial.
Yes, sir. And you personally, why do you feel that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches to be true to you personally?
Um, just saying, sort of, kind of rephrase the question. Why do I believe in Allah? Pretty much, right?
Yeah, yeah. Why do you believe in the teachings to be true? That's what it is generally.
Okay, well, I would say because I know what it is and I've seen it in it's easier to believe something when you're able to connect it to like certain parts, it's easier to believe it. So for example, like if you are a lost fam, the COVID-19, if you heard about what the minister said, the criterion about the pestilence from heaven, and then hearing that, and then him saying what's gonna happen in the future, it's like you've got to be like blind or just simply ignoring it not to kind of like know that that's the truth because I didn't like I personally I already knew before even the COVID criterion. It was like a little bit before, but it's just really seeing what he says. He's predicting the future. He doesn't just say, "Oh, this is gonna happen." He says, "Okay, this is gonna happen because of this, and this." He gives you kind of reasons. He makes it to where it's like, okay, how do you not believe that? That's that he makes it in such a plain way to where like you just believe it. So I personally believed it because I see the world walking in what he said it was going to walk into years ago with this war with Ukraine and all that. He said that years ago. He called it. He said it. And so what do you think that man knows if he can call something that's going to happen years in advance and then say that's not the truth? I just don't see it. So that's why I personally believe just seeing what he said just come to life really.
Man, yes, sir. A lot of times when we think of the teachings, a lot of brothers may be, not wanting to register because they see the discipline, they see the righteousness, and they may think, oh, I gotta clean myself up, or I gotta be perfect in order to be in the nation. So just going into that, at 15 years old, many people think at 15, man, you want to be fornicating, you want to be drinking, you want to be, doing these wicked kind of things. And I'm not condemning anyone doing that, but
Mhm.
what would you say, in your experience, do you feel like you are missing out on being young? Because a lot of people say being young is doing these irresponsible things.
Hmm. So I have three answers to that question. No, no, and no. No, sir. No, sir. Because it really this all what when people say that, it all depends on what you truly want. Because if fornication is what you want, then yeah, it's gonna feel like missing out. But you have to remember what you want for yourself. This is why it's always important to have a clear goal of what you really want. Because if you don't want to better yourself, you might as well just just stop playing with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Especially when you're a lost found, it's key to be honest with yourself. Because if you're lying to yourself, you're just gonna go all the way back to square one just because you told that little lie and you told a lie on that lie and it kept stacking. But if you really want to better yourself and you truly just want to improve yourself, improve your family, and improve your nation, your people, then you won't see that as missing out. You'll see it as a gift for finding it early so that you don't do it. Or if you have done it, you can get out of it. There is going to be no spot in your life to where it's the point where you're going to be where it's like, oh man, it's too late. It is never too late. But at a young age, though, like where I'm at, I really see it as a gift because you get nothing out of that, you get no good out of that really. So staying away from it and being the age that I am and getting it early, it's really a blessing from Allah, and it also motivates me because I know it's somebody my age out there fornicating. I know it's somebody my age out there dope dealing. And so with me over here with all of this, I gotta go out and get those people. I gotta bring them here if they don't know. And then it's their choice, of course. But yeah, that's really what I see in that.
Yes, sir. And why do you believe in Allah personally? Because I grew up an atheist. So,
Mhm,
most part of my life, I didn't believe in God or any deity. So
mhm.
why believe in God? And, just personally, why do you believe in God? And what does God look like in your perspective? Is it the white Jesus? Is it some spirit spook in the sky?
Mhm.
Can you just go into that, talking about God?
Yes, sir. So I'll start off with the easiest one. I see God as a black man. If you really just go do your study and you just go, what do you think burnished brass is? That's us. That's kinky hair. That's us. Like, so I just see the perspective as God. I just see him as Master Farad Muhammad, really. And why do I believe in Allah God? I would say simply because I know exactly who he is, what he does, and why he does it. I personally like to look at it as faith instead of belief because in the Holy Quran, Surah 2, verse 108, it says, whoever adopts belief instead of faith, he indeed has lost the right direction of the way. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that faith is the vehicle that God rides to heal whatever affliction humanity suffers. And I also like faith because faith means complete trust or confidence in someone or something. The key word in that is complete, not partial, but complete. I'm faithful in Allah because I know what he stands for and what he does. He lifts people up into being better people, and not just that, but just to be a better not just to be a better person, but to become God. Notice I said I know what he stands for. That's why knowledge is so important because you can't truly accept to have faith in anything if you don't have knowledge of it. In Message to the Black Man, it says the lack of knowledge is one of our main handicaps. The devil knows exactly what he's doing. He wants to keep us clueless to the knowledge. He wants to keep us clueless to what we really are for that reason. So that's why I think it's our job as Muslims to go deliver the people of God as well, because our people are unknowledgeable to who they really are. We have to give them the knowledge of self because the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said gaining the knowledge of self makes us unite into a great unity. So if
Hmm.
we're not going out as much as we can and giving them the knowledge of self in any form we can, then how do we expect us to unite? We have to put in that work. But that's the devil's nightmare, us uniting. So that's why you see all these distractions. You got Instagram, you got Facebook, you got YouTube. Though they're good tools, I actually use Instagram to go help get our people. But in the way that is being used around the world, then nah, it's a distraction. Because we're taught unity alone will win the battle. So what the devil has done in order to prevent that is what you just see in this world today. But that's what I believe in Allah because he's simply in total control. He uplifts, he resurrects, he teaches us, he's merciful to us, and he does much more. But that is my answer.
Yes, sir. And this is the last question I have for you, brother. And I want to thank you. Um,
Yes, sir.
what would you give as advice to those watching this who may be struggling like with vices, maybe struggling with alcohol, drugs, maybe struggling with sleeping around, selling drugs, doing illegal activity, or some that may just be lazy, kind of ignorant to what's going on? What would be your advice to them? Should they register? Should they study the teachings? Can you just go into that, brother?
Yes, sir. So first of all, the best way to understand somebody is to put yourself in their shoes. So if I was that kind of person, the advice I would give myself, that a person like that, would to be first of all, make your decision. Because many of us, we try and just say, oh yeah, that we know it's bad, but in our head we're telling ourselves this is normal, this is all right. But once you make that decision that you truly want to get out of whatever condition you're in, I would tell you the first thing is to forgive yourself and be patient. If you can't forgive yourself and be patient, then that journey is going to be way longer than it's supposed to be. Because if you can't forgive yourself, if you're say you're addicted to drugs, you've been addicted to drugs for 3, 4, 5 years. How can you expect to say from today, I'm not going to do no more drugs? That
Mm.
sounds so unrealistic. You're going to go back. You're going to relapse to all those times that you were doing drugs. So if you're not patient and you can't forgive yourself and say, "Man, I had a little slip up. What can I do better?" That's the mindset you got to have. You got to understand to forgive yourself. All right, man, it's all right. You got to have gratitude. Look at the progress you made. Like you got to really forgive yourself and be patient. Those would be my two things. And obviously before you can even do those two, I'll say after those two, you join the nation. After you understand what you want, you join the nation. That's the first thing. If the nation is for you, you join the nation. You don't join the nation because you hear people say, "Oh yeah, the nation is this, and this," and you join it. Nah, you don't join the nation because your parents will be happy. Nah, you don't join the nation because your friends will like you more. You don't do it. You have to do it for yourself, and it's gonna show if you truly are doing it for yourself. Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, "Who you are in your private life is what you are." So throw yourself in there. Where you gonna be? Where you gonna be at? Are you still doing drugs in your private life? If you are you working to fix it? Are you studying? You have to ask yourself these questions, but that's a whole nother story. But I would just say be able to forgive yourself and be patient, and then obviously make a decision to join the Nation of Islam if it's fitting for you. But that's what my advice be to them.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you so much, brother, for coming on my platform. Your little, your brother's platform that he's trying to build up. And I really appreciate it, brother. You very wise. And that, man, I definitely look forward to definitely building with you more in the future. And I definitely hope that we physically meet, brother, and we tackle our community. So yes, sir. Thank you so much for coming on here. Send your family the greetings. And I just want to say salam alaikum.